Hello everyone, welcome back to the next video. In this video I will show you how to overlay an image over a video in React Native's new architecture for iOS using the AVMutableComposition API. So let's get started. So first you will have to go to the React Native's new architecture documentation. Okay, so first what I will do is I will show you guys the output video. So here I have three buttons. Also make sure you run this project on a real device. It will not work on the simulator, so you require a real device for this. I'm running it on my iPad. So I will click on this pick image button. It will open the Photos app for me. So I will select this flower image. You can select whatever image you feel like. Then I'll click on pick video. Here I have one 15 seconds long video. Now as soon as I click on this video, if it is a very large video for you, this will take a little bit of time to overlay the image on the video or add a watermark logo to your video as well, whatever you want to call it. So as soon as I pick the video, it takes a bit of time. If you want, you can display a progress bar, and here you can see I will just pause the video as well, but here you can see at the bottom right hand side corner the image has been overlaid on the video. Also if I want also one more thing which I will tell you is, if you are not able to see the overlay, you will have to change the width and height of your video component, which I will show you later in the code. So yeah, in case if it is still not visible, you can just click on the zoom feature and the video player will expand. So if you want, you can do that as well. But anyways, hopefully you got the point. If I want, I can save this video as well. If I click on save video, I can give allow full access and the video has been saved. And if I now click on pick video, there should be two videos here, you can see. And if you want, you can play the video from the Photos app as well. So this is the last video. So here you can see the video has that watermark logo. I'll just delete this image, sorry, delete this video. I don't really need it. So hopefully you got the point. Now here is the documentation. So firstly you will have to create a React Native project. You can use this command, but you can change the project name to whatever you feel like, and you don't need to hard code this version. Whatever is the latest version, you can use that. Once that is done, if you see the documentation, it tells us that create this specs folder. Inside that, create this TypeScript file. So so this is my React Native project. Okay, so I'll close everything just for simplicity sake, and here you can see I have created a specs folder. Now here native local storage, naming the file as native local storage does not make sense in our case, so I have named it as native overlay. Now the native word is very important. You can, after that, you can name it whatever you feel like. So I have named it as native overlay.ts, and here I have just copy pasted all this code from the documentation. But I have refactored. We don't require these four methods, right? It does not make again sense in our case. So I have created three methods: one for picking the photo, second for overlaying the video, which will require the path of the video, and third one is for saving the video, which will require path of the video. Now for picking photo, I am not making use of React Native image picker library. The reason is that if you try to pick a photo from React Native side, you will have to send the path. You will get the path of the image, right? But for overlaying a video or an image on a video, we require the image to be in a format of UI image. So it's better we just pick it from the native iOS side itself, and then converting it to a UI image is pretty simple. That's why I have not used React Native image picker for this. For overlay video, I have used React Native image picker for picking the video, and once I have the video path, I'm just calling this particular method, and it will return the like the output video which we have, which has the image overlaid on top of it, the path of that output video as a promise. And for saving video, we will send this particular path which we have got of the output video to save video, and it will just return a boolean telling us whether the operation was successful or not. And here I have just renamed this to native overlay, whatever is our TypeScript file name. We can't use native local storage as they have given over here, because our file name is different. So once that is done, the next thing which you have to do is you will have to go to package.json and just copy paste this particular bit of code. So just go to package.json, and as you can see over here, I have just copy pasted this code. But again, you will have to make few changes. Inside the name, you will have to write native overlay or whatever is your TypeScript file name, followed by the word spec. So don't forget the word spec. And here inside the package name, again we'll have to change it to native overlay as well, or whatever is your file name. So once that is done, do make sure you run npm install. So just run npm install, because we have changed our package.json. Don't forget to run npm install. Okay, once that is done, we'll see. Okay, then we'll have to cd to the iOS folder. Before that, before we do that, go to package.json. Okay, I have installed few dependencies as well, which I want to show you. So you can just do npm install react native picker, react native image picker. But again, like I mentioned, we will be using react native image picker for picking video and not for picking image, because picking image will be done on the native side, because we want the image to be in UI image format, and react native video for playing the video. So make sure you install these two dependencies as well, like using npm install react native image picker, npm install react native video as well. Once that is done, then you can cd to the iOS folder. So something like this. Okay, cd iOS. Then you can just run this particular command, bundle install. I have already ran this command, so I won't run it again. So run this, and after that you will have to run bundle exec pod install as well. Now this will take little bit of time, so be patient. Once both of these commands are run, we'll go to app.tsx. so here you can see, here is my app.tsx, and I have included few imports. First one is the launch image library from react native image picker. Second one is video from react native video, and the last one is native overlay TypeScript file, which we have created inside our specs folder as well. And I have added some text as well as touchable opacity from react native as well. Now here I am importing usestate from React, because we need to hold that video URI of the transform video which we get. Here is our first button. So on click of it, we just call pick photo. Now the implementation, like I told you, will be written on the native iOS side, which I will show you shortly. Then here is our second button for picking video. So here you can see I'm just picking a video, and once I have the picked video URI, we just pass it to our native overlay video. So this is the video URI, and once we get the output of the transform video, that is the path of the transform video, we just assign it to our set video URI state. Then here is our third button, and on click of it, we just pass the video URI. We call the save video method. If it is successful, I just display an alert to it. Then here, once this video URI is not equal to empty, then we display our video component by passing the video URI, so that we can start playing the video. And like I mentioned, if you're not, if you're like me, like overlaying the image on the bottom right hand side corner, and if you are not able to see it, make sure you change the width and height as well accordingly, and add this controls as well. Also, I will show you how, like for now in this particular demo, I have overlaid the image on the bottom right side corner, but you might want to overlay it on some other place. I will also show you that in code where you exactly need to change, so don't worry about that. Okay, so that's it from the app.tsx side. You don't have to do much over here. Once that is done, if you see the documentation, they tell us to open the Xcode project. So we'll have to go to rnapp or wherever your project is created. So my project name is rnapp, so I'll open it over here. I'll go to the iOS folder over here, and I'll double click on this .exe workspace. It will open it inside Xcode. I have already opened it. Once it is opened, if you see, they are first telling us to create a new group called native local storage, but in our case it will be native overlay. So you can just right click on your app and select new group and name it as native overlay. So something like this, name it as native overlay. I have already created it, so I won't create it again, and I'll just delete this. Okay, once after that, you again have to right click, go to new file from template, select Objective-C file, click next, and here you will have to name it as RCT native overlay. So if you see over here, that's what they have done. In their case, it is RCT native local storage. but in our case it will be RCT native overlay. Again, I have already created this file, so I won't create it again. You just have to name it as RCT native overlay, click on next, then click on finish, and it will create two files for you, this header file as well as this Objective-C file. Now you will have to change the extension of this Objective-C file from .m to .mm, so it is Objective-C++. Then we again have to right click, new file from template, select our Swift file, and inside our Swift file again click on next, and here you will have to name it as native overlay. Again, like I mentioned, I have already created this file, so I won't be creating this file again. So you just have to name it as native overlay, something like this, and then click on create. And Xcode will ask, do you want to create a bridging header? Click yes. Once you click on the bridging header, it will create this particular header file as well. This is very important because we will be calling some Objective-C++ code we will calling a Swift code from Objective-C++. That is why this is very important. Okay, once this is done, there are few other things of setup. So go back to your project, go to general tab, and here you will have to click on this plus button, and here you will have to change the number to 18.0 over here as well as over here, because the API which we are using is only available from 18.0. like I have written the code to work below 18.0 as well, but I have commented that code out because if you update your project to Swift 6, that code will cause issue. That's why I have not uncommented that code, because I don't know how to resolve that issue for Swift 6 and above. But if you just update this minimum deployment to iOS 18, I know this might be little bit harder for you to deploy to update to 18.0, but yeah, if you know how to resolve that Swift 6 issue, you can maybe uncomment my code and use it. I'll show you that code later on, but for now just update this to 18.0 over here. And you will also have to go to iOS, rnapp, info.plist, and just scroll down, and here make sure you add this ns photo library usage description. Change the string to whatever you feel like. This is only used if you are trying to save the video to the Photos app. Okay, once that is done, firstly we'll come to our header file. Now again, I have copy pasted this code from the documentation. So if you come to the documentation over here, you can see I've just copied this code. Now here they have forgot this particular thing, ns assume non-null end. So this is missing in the documentation. Hopefully by the time you watch it, they update the documentation, but don't forget this particular thing. And the few changes which we have to make is, everywhere wherever they have written native local storage, we have to write native overlay. So I have changed it over here, I have changed it over here, I have changed it over here, and I have changed it over here as well. Okay, then we'll have to come to our Objective-C++ file. Again, I'm telling you to change the extension to .mm from .m, so it is Objective-C++. Now here I have copied few of the code, not the entire thing. So I have firstly we'll have to import our header file. Next, this should be your own app name. So here you can see my app name is rnapp, right? So whatever is your project name is, you should write your own project name followed by -swift.h. Now this is not in the documentation. We have to do this because we need to call some Swift code from Objective-C++. That's why this is important. This I have copied it from documentation. This is pretty much useless in our case, but yeah, anyways I have written it just for the safety side, because even I'm not good in Objective-C++. So that's what I have written over here. Then I have created an implementation of RCT native overlay. Here we can see that we can add this RCT export module of native overlay. Again, this I have copied from the documentation, only the file name has been changed. Here we are initializing our Swift file. Now whatever is your Swift file, you will have to write that name over here. So our Swift file name is native overlay. I'll show you the Swift file code later on. This I have copied it from the documentation. Now only change which I have done here, it should be native overlay instead of native local storage. Now here we are overriding the pick photo method. Now Xcode helped me to write this particular method because even I am not really good at this. And here is we are running this particular code on a main thread, and we are calling the select photo method, which is present inside our Swift file, which I will show you shortly. For overlay the video, again we get hold of our main thread. Then this is the method which is present on our Swift file, overlay image on video. We are passing the path, and once if the path is not equal to empty string, then it is proper, otherwise I'm throwing an error. Okay, and here for save video, again we get hold of our main thread. We call this method which is present inside our Swift file called save video to photos, passing our path, and if it is success then we resolve it as yes, otherwise we throw an error. So yeah, and here make sure you add this end block as well for your Objective C++ code. So yeah, that's it on the Objective C++ side. Feel free to pause the video if you are confused. And next we'll have to go to this native overlay. So first we have to import photos UI. Then here we have to annotate it with @OBEC members because we want to call this from Objective C side. Then here we extend NS object as well as PHP view controller delegate. Here is our selected image of UI image, and here is our file manager for saving that transformed file temporarily before saving it to the Photos app. And here is our select photo method. So first we get hold of our root view controller, then this is how you open the Photos app for picking photos in native iOS side. We just use a PH picker configuration. Selection limit is 1, filter by images. Here we just do PH picker view controller, passing our configuration, and we just present the Photos app to the user. Now once the user picks an image, the callback will come over here. I will show you. The callback comes over here. So this method I have not written by myself. We are extending it from the PH picker controller delegate above. Here we just do picker.dismiss. Here is our result, and here once we have the result, we could just convert it to a UI image and set it to our global variable of this particular file of selected image. That's what I assigned it to. Okay, next is for overlaying the video. So this is the overlaying image on video. So this is the path which we get from React Native side, and this is the completion handler which is necessary for telling to Objective-C that okay, this method is done implementing on Swift side. So once we have the selected image, I just create a task which is used for async await. We call this particular method, which I will show you shortly, pass the video URL as well as the selected image. It will store that particular overlay image on video in a temporary location. This is the updated URL, and we send it back to Objective-C. Objective-C will send it to React Native side, and in case something goes wrong, I just complete the completion handler by an empty string. Okay, now coming back to the add watermark. Here you can see we first create a AVMutableComposition, then we create an AV URL asset, then we get hold of our video track, then the audio track, we get duration of our video, then we get hold of our asset video track, asset audio track, then we get the time range. We insert the video track inside the asset video track, similarly for audio track as well. Then we create a AVMutableComposition. We set the render size, frame duration as well. We create a parent layer as well as a video layer. We set the frame for both. Then we add the video layer to parent layer. Then we create a watermark layer as well. And here you can change the width and height to whatever you want the watermark logo's width and height. So it's up to you. Then we set the contents and convert our UI image to CG image. And here you can see this X and Y position matters. So like I said, in my case it was on the bottom right hand side corner, but you can change this X and Y coordinate to whatever you feel like, and it will display it over there. Then we add the watermark layer to our parent layer, video composition, set the animation tool. Then we create the instruction, set the time range, layer instruction as well as video composition extraction. Then we create an export path as well, an export URL. If you can change the file name to whatever you feel like. If the file with same name already exists, we remove that particular file. Then here we create an AV asset export session. Then we set our video composition and should optimize for network usage true. Now this particular bit of code will actually help us to export the file to our export URL, and this entire code which I'm highlighting is only available from iOS 18 and above. Now if you, like I told you, if you want the code for below iOS 18, then you will have to uncomment this if clause, then uncomment this entire else clause as well. But like I mentioned, this particular line of code I think throws an error for Swift 6, and I don't know how to resolve it. Currently, at least now, React Native projects are not targeting in Swift 6, but maybe in the future or by the time you are watching this video, they might have already targeted it. That's why I've commented this code out. And lastly, we just return our export URL. Now for saving videos to photos, firstly we first get the video URL as well as a completion handler. First we need to request access to our photos app, so which I will show you in a bit. But once we have the access, then we just call ph photo library dot share dot perform changes, ph asset change request dot create request for asset from video, passing our file URL. If success, then completion is true, else I'm saying completion handler is false. And this is the method for accessing for asking the photos app for the permission. Okay, and this I have already shown you. So yeah, that's it. Now I'll simply scroll through this file one more time because there is a lot of things that is happening in this file. But yeah, that's it. Hope if you have any questions, do let me know in the comments. So I'll simply scroll through this. Feel free to pause the video wherever you feel like. Yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye. Just quickly let me check if I forgot anything. No, I think that should be it. Also make sure you run it on a real device. It will not work on a simulator.